Hi there, everybody. Let's continue. Nós já conhecemos uma parte do funcionamento do corpo humano, right? Right. Very good. What lesson is this now? This is lesson 85. Very good. In lesson 84, né, na lição anterior, the previous lesson, nós aprendemos uma parte do funcionamento do corpo. Vamos dar uma recapitulada agora antes da gente falar das outras. Então, para ver se a gente aprendeu bem como é que funciona a respiração e a circulação. Olha só. What happens when we breathe in? When we breathe in, the air enters the body. How? Through the nose or the mouth. What happens when we breathe in? Very good. Does the air enter the body through the nose and the mouth? Yes, it does. What happens to the air when we breathe in? Very good. The air enters the body through the nose or the mouth. Where does the air go after it enters the body? It goes to the lungs. Very good. It goes to the lungs. Does the air go to the lungs? Yes, it does. Where does the air go? The air goes to the lungs. Very good. What happens when the airs get to the lungs? When the air is in the lungs, what happens to it? The lungs filter the air. What do the lungs do? They filter the air. Do the lungs filter the air? Yes, they do. What do they do? They filter the air. What do they filter? They filter the air. Very good. How? What do they do when they filter the air? They take the oxygen molecules. Do the lungs take the oxygen molecules from the air? Yes, they do. What do the lungs take from the air? They take the oxygen molecules. Very good. Do the lungs take the oxygen molecules from the air? Yes, they do. Very good. So, what do they do after they take the oxygen molecules from the air? They give them, what is this them? They give what? They give the oxygen molecules. What do? They give them to the blood. So the lungs take the oxygen molecules from the air and give them to the blood. Let's repeat. The lungs take the oxygen molecules from the air and give them to the lungs. What do the lung and give them to the blood? What do the lungs do? Very good. They take the oxygen molecules from the air and give them to the blood. Where is the blood? The blood is flowing nearby. Is the blood flowing nearby? Yes, it is. Como é que a gente sabe que o blood está flowing nearby? Porque o blood está flowing no corpo inteiro, certo? Então, o blood está passando por ali, por todos as artérias. Então, ele está flowing, certo? The blood is flowing nearby, ali nas redondezas, na região, por ali, né? Is the blood flowing nearby? Yes, it is. What is the blood doing? It's flowing nearby. All right. And what happens when the blood gets the oxygen molecules? This rich, oxygen-rich blood goes to the heart. It goes to the heart. Very good. Does the oxygen-rich blood go to the heart? Yes, it does. What does the oxygen-rich blood do? It goes to the heart. Very good. What does the heart do with this blood? What does the heart do with this oxygen-rich blood? It pumps it to the whole body. Very good. Does the heart pump the oxygen-rich blood to the whole body? Yes, it does. What does the heart do? Fantastic. It pumps the blood to the whole body. How? How does the blood go to the whole body? It goes to the whole body through the arteries. Very good. Does the oxygen-rich blood go to the whole body through the arteries? Yes, it does. How does the blood go to the whole body? Through the arteries. Very good. Aí depois, and then what happens? The blood goes to the whole body. Then the whole body takes the oxygen molecules, take them, right? The whole body takes the oxygen molecules, and what happens after the blood gives the oxygen molecules to the organs, né? Que o blood vai para todos os órgãos. After the blood gives the oxygen molecules to the organs, what happens? It collects the CO2 molecules. Quer dizer, a gente vê que existe uma troca, né? O sangue vem com as moléculas de oxigênio, doa para os órgãos todos e tira dos órgãos as moléculas de CO2, né? A parte, as toxinas, né? As coisas que o organismo não aproveita, que vai jogar fora. Então, o sangue faz a troca. Ele dá o CO2, o oxygen molecules, and takes the CO2 molecules, né? As células o lixo que vai jogar fora, certo? It collects the CO2 molecules. What happens when the blood collects the CO2 molecules? It flows back to the heart. All right. When the blood collects the CO2 molecules, what happens? It flows back to the heart. Does the blood flow back to the heart with the CO2 molecules? Yes, it does. What happens to the blood when it collects the CO2 molecules? It flows back to the heart. Very good. How does the blood flow back to the heart? Through the arteries? No, it flows back to the heart through The veins, lógico, né? Não dá para ir todo mundo e voltar no mesmo filamento, não dá, né? Vai pela artéria e volta pelas veias, right? Does the heart flow back to the heart through the veins? Yes, it does. How does the blood flow back to the heart? It flows back to the heart through the veins. Very good. And what does the heart do with that blood? It pumps it back to the lungs. Does the heart pump the blood back to the lungs? Yes, it does. What does the heart do with the blood? It pumps it back to the lungs. All right. What happens then? The lungs filter the CO2 molecules. What do the lungs do with that blood? They filter the CO2 molecules. Do the lungs filter the CO2 molecules? Yes, they do. What do the lungs do? They filter the CO2 molecules. Very good. And what happens after the lungs filter the CO2 molecules? We breathe them out, right? We breathe them out. A gente expira, né? Joga o ar para fora. Essas moléculas de CO2 vão para fora quando a gente expira, certo? Do we breathe the CO2 molecules out? Yes, we do. What do we do? We breathe the CO2 molecules out. Very good. Ficou claro o sistema, como é que funciona, né? A respiração e a circulação do sangue. Então, capricha aí, presta atenção, que agora nós vamos falar das outras partes, tá? Capricha aí e depois volta para a gente continuar. See you all later!